The Power of Reading, How Books Can Improve Your English. Hello, and welcome to another enriching session here at English Great Stories, your go-to channel for mastering English and deepening your love for language. I'm truly excited to have you here with me today. For those who are tuning in for the first time, thank you for joining our growing community of English learners. In this session, we delve into a wide array of topics aimed at helping you unlock the potential of the English language no matter where you are in your learning journey. Today, we'll be discussing something very near and dear to my heart, and I think it's something you're going to love too. Our focus today is on the power of reading, how books can improve your English. Yes, you heard that right. Books. Whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced English learner, books can open doors for you, not only improving your language skills, but also broadening your understanding of the world. Now, before we jump into the meat of today's discussion, I want to emphasize the importance of approaching your English learning journey with curiosity and excitement. Often we focus too much on perfection, on mastering grammar rules, or having a perfect accent. But the truth is, one of the best ways to learn English, or any language for that matter, is through the love of learning itself. And one of the best ways to cultivate that love is through books. So, in this session, we're going to explore how reading can be your secret weapon for improving your English fluency. I'll be sharing not just tips and strategies, but also some long and concrete examples that you can apply in your own life. So, sit back, relax, and let's dive into the fascinating world of reading and language learning. Why reading is important for language learning. Let's start by addressing a fundamental question. Why is reading so important when it comes to learning English? You might be thinking, can I just watch movies, listen to podcasts, or speak with native speakers? Of course, all of those are fantastic ways to improve your English. However, reading offers something unique. It engages both your mind and your imagination in ways that other forms of learning might not. When you read, you are not just passively receiving information, but actively engaging with it. You visualize the scenes in your mind. You feel the emotions of the characters, and you interpret the words in ways that make sense to you. This active engagement makes reading one of the most powerful tools for language acquisition. Consider this. Studies have shown that reading can increase your vocabulary by up to 60%. That's a huge percentage. When you read a book, especially one in English, you are exposed to a wide variety of words, phrases, and sentence structures that you wouldn't normally encounter in day-to-day conversations. This exposure is key to expanding your vocabulary and improving your overall fluency. Let me give you a concrete example. Imagine you're reading a novel like To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Now, this is a classic book that many native English speakers have read. As you read through the pages, you'll encounter words like compel, perplex, and benevolent. These aren't words you'd necessarily hear in everyday conversations, but they are important in expanding your vocabulary. Not only that, but you'll also learn how these words are used in context, which is equally important. So, while watching movies or listening to podcasts can help you with pronunciation and listening comprehension, reading helps you build a strong foundation in vocabulary and grammar. How to choose the right books for your level. Now that we've established why reading is so important, let's talk about how to choose the right books for your English learning journey. It's crucial to pick books that are suited to your level, as choosing a book that's too difficult can be discouraging, while choosing one that's too easy might not challenge you enough. If you're a beginner, I recommend starting with graded readers. These are books that are written specifically for English learners, with simplified vocabulary and sentence structures. You'll find graded readers in all genres, from classic literature to modern-day thrillers. The key here is to pick a book that interests you. Whether it's a mystery, romance, or adventure story, the most important thing is that you enjoy what you're reading. For example, if you're just starting out, you might want to read something like The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. It's a timeless story, but many versions of the book have been adapted for English learners. You'll find the vocabulary manageable and the story engaging enough to keep you turning the pages. If you're at an intermediate level, you can start to challenge yourself with more complex books. At this stage, I recommend trying young adult fiction. These books are written for a general audience, so the language is accessible, but the themes and vocabulary are more advanced than beginner-level books. One of my favorite recommendations for intermediate learners is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. It's a global phenomenon, and many people are familiar with the story, which makes it easier to follow along. Plus, the language in the Harry Potter series strikes a nice balance between simple and advanced, making it a great choice for intermediate learners. Finally, if you're an advanced learner, you can pretty much read anything you want. At this stage, you should focus on reading books that challenge you both linguistically and intellectually. Consider diving into classic literature like 1984 by George Orwell or Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. These books are rich in complex sentence structures, advanced vocabulary, and deep themes, all of which will push your English skills to the next level. The role of context in vocabulary acquisition. Now that you've chosen the right book for your level, let's talk about one of the most valuable aspects of reading, learning vocabulary through context. One of the mistakes that many English learners make is trying to memorize vocabulary words in isolation. While flashcards and word lists can be helpful, they don't always give you a deep understanding of how words are used in real-life situations. That's where reading comes in. When you read a book, you encounter new words in a rich context. You don't just see the word on a list, you see it in action, in a sentence, surrounded by other words that help you understand its meaning. This is incredibly powerful for language learning because it allows you to internalize the meaning of words without even realizing you're learning. For example, let's say you come across the word melancholy in a novel. If you've never heard this word before, you might not know what it means. But as you continue reading, you see that the character feels melancholy after losing something precious. Now, even if you don't know the exact dictionary definition, you understand that melancholy is related to sadness or a feeling of loss. This is a much more effective way of learning vocabulary than simply memorizing the word and its definition. Research has shown that learning words in context is not only more effective, but also more enjoyable. In fact, studies suggest that learners are more likely to retain new vocabulary when they encounter it in a meaningful context. This is one of the reasons why reading is such an important tool for improving your English. It allows you to see words in their natural habitat, so to speak. Long-term benefits of reading in English. The more you read, the more you'll start to see long-term improvements in your English skills. These improvements go beyond just vocabulary and grammar. They extend to your overall fluency, comprehension, and even your ability to think in English. Let me give you an example. Imagine that you've been reading regularly for 6 months. Over time, you'll start to notice that your brain automatically understands more and more of what you're reading without needing to stop and look up every word. This is because your brain is gradually building connections between words, phrases, and meaning. Research has shown that learners who read regularly are more likely to develop an intuitive understanding of the language, which leads to greater fluency. In fact, one study found that English learners who read for just 30 minutes a day improved their comprehension skills by over 30% in just a few months. That's a significant improvement, and it goes to show just how powerful reading can be. But beyond the technical benefits, reading also helps you develop a deeper appreciation for the English language. You'll start to see the nuances of how different authors use language to create mood, tone, and atmosphere. You'll discover new ways of expressing yourself, and you'll become more confident in your ability to communicate in English. Conclusion. Start your reading journey today. So there you have it. Reading is one of the most powerful tools you can use to improve your English. Whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced learner, there's a book out there that's perfect for your level. By reading regularly, you'll expand your vocabulary, improve your grammar, and develop a deeper understanding of the language. More importantly, you'll discover the joy of learning through stories, ideas, and experiences that transcend borders and cultures. Before we wrap up, I encourage you to make reading a regular part of your English learning routine. Start small, maybe just 10 or 15 minutes a day, and gradually build up from there. Over time, you'll start to see the benefits, not just in your English skills, but also in your overall enjoyment of the language. Thank you for joining me today on this journey through the power of reading. If you found this session helpful, don't forget to subscribe more English Great Stories for more tips, lessons, and strategies for mastering English. As always, I appreciate your support, and I look forward to continuing this journey with you. Happy reading, and until next time, keep reading for your English, one page at a time.